Okay. Well, I hope you can still hear me, Vernon, because you're out there in cyber world somewhere.
Here, right here.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
All
Pastor Bill.
right. Hey, how you doing, my friend?
You see the kids?
Yeah. See you guys. Love the shirt. Hey, William.
Hey, Pastor Bill.
How you?
How are you?
Good.
How
Good to
you?
see you all. All right.
Which hangar is this?
How you put the volume up?
What we'll do. Hang on. I'll be right back, guys. Hang on.
Which hangar is this?
Pastor Bill.
Oh, this is not, what you call it?
Sit down. Gotta be quiet. Remember, Pastor Bill? Ito come here. Remember,
All right,
Pastor?
everybody.
Say hello, Pastor Bill.
Hello, Pastor Bill.
How are you? It's good to see you.
Good. I just gotta do the volume. The volume's a little low.
Yeah, we'll just mute out our lines until you have a question.
Okay, just mute the
We'll-
microphone.
Yeah, just mute out your mic when you're not talking, and then that way we won't have a lot of confusion, but then we can add everybody in. Okay. All right, guys. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello there. How's Catherine?
Doing much better. So is Pat.
Good. How's moving going?
I'm starting to get the jitters now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Pastor
looking forward to
James,
it very much, very much.
Yeah. So what town you moving to up in the Minneapolis area?
Lakeville.
That's right, Lakeville. So southern area.
Right, right.
Right off of I-35.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
know right where you're at.
Oh, wonderful, because I hope to have you up there quite a few times.
I hope you keep me busy.
I actually have some things going on. When we came out with I'm so excited about this world's largest workout day
Yes.
because I went ahead, before printing things out, I started blabbing to a couple of the folks that work at the fitness center here in Cresco.
Yeah.
And one guy, I said, you could bike, you can walk. And he goes, well, sign me up for the biking portion. I said, well, all right, I'll bring the sheet in. Another gal said, well, I'm starting this take your time triathlon at the same time. It's going to be a perfect coincidence for it. And I'm like, finally, I'm getting them to understand this is for them.
Yeah. What we're going to get some understanding on in the next few weeks is how they're going to monetize these groups. And
Wow.
you, William, and you, Vernon, with the insanity stuff you guys been doing, this is going to be a great way to see that monetized. That's going to be exciting. There's so much. We'll get into the Maxwell stuff here in a minute, but I do want to give you guys some strategy and answer questions that you might have on the whole equity thing and this event on January 3rd. Is again, this hangout is for people that are wanting to really grab a hold of leadership, because of the mentorship I'm getting with John C. Maxwell. What I'm learning from him, I'm passing on to you. And so part of in leadership, we got to kind of clarify directives and strategies that we're rolling out. And right now is a very, very critical time in VI with the global expansion, as many of you know. They have opened back up the equity offering for the next 12 months until the end of 2015. We'll get even more details on the equity program tomorrow, but basically what they're doing is out of the 1.8 billion, now the equity is around $250 million right now. They're going to be parceling off 6% of that to those that are national director and above. So to give you a perspective of what we mean here, as somebody, if you mute out your lines unless you were talking, because I'm hearing myself echo. Thank you. I posted something that Rhonda got from Dave Bengal, and I was using too, because it spells it out as even if your commissions are down for a month, you still get paid equity on the growth of the company, even if your group is not. Once you get to a point of leadership of ND and above, as long as you stay at least at ND. So this is astronomically huge as far as truly creating a legacy income for your family. When have you ever heard of a network marketing company paid beyond commissions and giving you equity in the company? So because of that, and Nick says, in the month of December especially, you need to be opportunity driven. I know that's not our message 11 months out of the year, but in December, that is our message for several reasons. One, tax deductions, so they get their money right back out of tax shelters, tax deductions in January. Secondly, is people are assessing their future and things around the turn of the year for whatever reason. And so they're looking at what they can change into and move into at that point. Thirdly, October is usually a weak time of the year, and so a lot of people are reevaluating what they're doing in other network marketing companies. So this is the time that people are going to make switches. This is when they do it. So knowing that we're offering equity, and here's the line I'm saying. I'm texting this out to people, just so you know. I'm saying, I was talking to Vernon about this earlier, is I know you said no to me before, but if you found out there was a $1.8 billion company that was offering equity, would you want to know more information? Question marks. And that is getting people to call and follow up. So you say, hey, I know I already talked to you about VI, but if you knew there was a $1.8 billion company giving you an equity offering for coming on board, would you want to know about it? And that's creating dialogue. And that's all you got to do is text it to people. And just to let you know, my strategy when I'm talking to leaders, I don't call leaders out of the blue and say, hey, this is Bill, how you doing? I don't do that. I text them out, and I say, this is Bill Nissen. Call me at 319-521-0523. It is important. I wouldn't be contacting you if it wasn't. That's all I say. And those that say, what's it about? I'll say, I know I already talked to you about VI, but if you found out there was a $1.8 billion company that was doing an equity offering, would you want to know about it? I'd say about half of them have been responding. So that is a good, easy dialogue. They say, well, what do I do after they say okay? Then you get them on a conference call with me. It's as simple as that. Okay? Now, the group, the challenge group, it's going to be a whole new promoter system. We're going to find a way to monetize it. We'll talk more about that in a later call, but for now, we got to just focus in on January 3rd. So what we need to do is find locations. It can be your home, it can be a garage, it can be an ice skating rink. It doesn't have to be a workout gym, but if you have a workout gym, fantastic. I got a couple fitness clubs that are plugging in here in the Midwest that are, I said they're all about this because I've gone to them saying, hey, we're going to break the world record for the largest simultaneous workout on January 3rd at noon. And we would like to use your workout room. That way we can drive all this new people into your place and see what you're doing as a fitness club so you can expose them to what you're doing while we're promoting this world record that we're tackling. And they're like, yeah, traffic for us. If our workout room is open, you can use it. So I'm trying to get 2 or 3 locations in Cedar Rapids. I got 1 location in Dubuque right now, and trying to get other locations set up and people that can man that. So I would be all about that because that's going to be something that they'll want to be able to see promoted and publicized for their own business as well, knowing they're doing a greater cause. Every single participant, we get to that world record holding workout session, wherever it is, every participant that we have registered for it is going to feed a child in need for 30 meals. And so that's what I'm using as the carrot for people saying, we're going to break a world record. We're going to break a world record on January 3rd and feed the poor at the same time. Would you want to get involved with us knowing that we're feeding a child in need simply by you participating? And I got all kinds of dialogue from people on that. So I would be attacking this. Now, going back to the equity fund, I would be talking to leaders that are your chicken list, because this is the language that's going to draw them. This is a niche that's never been done before in network marketing, to be able to offer equity. And if we need to, we can get them either to one of the local events in January that's going to be starting up, the regional success trainings. We're going to be doing some LSTs where we're going to be having influencer meetings at those, or we can actually fly them into Detroit for the influencer meetings we'll be having at the corporate office in Troy. So no holds barred. We can do whatever we need to do to get people in front of this and talking to the founders. So this is time to talk shop with any influencers you know that are in some other companies. I can tell you right now there are several former ambassadors of ViSalus trying to find a way back in. Most of them, I can't say most, but many of them are not allowed back in because they were unethical. But the ones that weren't unethical are coming back in. The latest one that was a 5-star was Christine and Todd Perry. They are back with Vi because they did not cross-recruit. Several 1-star and 2-star ambassadors are coming back too that have been approved. A couple of them in California that I know of just recently. So people are wanting back in because they see how massive of a mistake it was to move on. And so we are seeing a great deal of momentum that's culminating and growing right now. And we need to take advantage of that. Just because you have some people on your list that told you no 2 years ago, this is the time to revisit that list. Because nobody's ever offered equity before. Keep it in mind. That means you're getting paid every month, even if your group isn't growing, as long as we get you national director. So this is the time to make this your primary focus. We have a window to get you to national director or above of 12 months. So I want to get as many of you there by the end of January as we possibly can. But what we want to do is get as many of your core leaders in there by the end of 2015 so that we can create a legacy income not only for you but for them. So any questions on that before we move into the Maxwell material?
I have one question, Bill.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, when you say the equity position that you get paid monthly?
That's my understanding, starting at the end of January.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
I thought it was going to be quarterly, but I heard monthly from a post with Blake.
Okay.
I have a question also
Yes.
that was on, I wrote it out. For those that are current promoters, they need to hit ND by the end of January, or do they have throughout 2015 also?
Throughout 2015. The only reason they're talking about
More.
getting it done before the end of January is so you don't miss the first payout. You'd rather get paid sooner than later, right?
Need it with the move.
Yeah, I hear that one. Any other questions on that?
You're doing an equity thing on Thursday night before the meeting, right?
Oh yeah, for the local group challenge party in Cedar Rapids, I'm doing an influencer meeting at 6 o'clock. The challenge party itself is at 7 o'clock. Anybody that can help me close the meeting at 8 o'clock would be great because I have to do the Faith and Fitness call right at 8 o'clock. So I'll need somebody to help me close the party. But I'll be doing the influencer meeting at 6.
Okay. Is there any possibility if I can't make it down there,
Mm-hmm.
but I have somebody up here, can I Skype in or Google Hangout in
On the 6 o'clock one,
on the 6 o'clock one?
just get them on a 3-way call with me
Okay, I'll do that.
at any time.
All right.
We'll probably be
And
live.
send you a text before I go talking with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. And that's true for you too, Vernon and William, as far as, do you got any influencers, 3-way calls? I want to get sick of them this week. I want to get to the point where I can't stand one more 3-way call, and I won't be there anytime soon. I love them. So let's do this. All right. Now, moving on. Any other questions before we move on? We're good? Okay, hang on then. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through, I tell you what, this John C. Maxwell material has been transformative for me on many levels. You know, it's one thing to read a book, it's one thing to get some information, it's another thing to really hear the heart behind it and see everything explained in context. And to have that person then hold you accountable. It changes everything. And I tell you, my whole mindset with John Maxwell has transformed me in the last few months. The biggest one was one of the first truths that I embraced from him, and that was never work alone. Whenever I can possibly do it, I want to make calls with other people. If we're making their calls or they're watching me make my calls, I want to do their parties with them. The modeling is what's duplicatable. Teaching them verbally the concepts of what they need to do, they won't do. And it's not because they're rebellious, it's that most people repeat what they see. And so if they see you say one thing, they see you not actually doing it, they're going to think that's what they're telling us we're supposed to say, but they're really just not doing it either. We've got to model for them the behavior we want them to duplicate. So when you have a promoter, you get in there and you physically make the calls with them. Physically, and some of them are going to, like there's a gal I signed up just recently, April, she doesn't want me there, but I'm making myself be there because she's afraid she's going to do it wrong and doesn't want to be told that she's doing it wrong. And I go in there and I force myself there, and I just encourage her, then she's going to be more apt to want me to help her on other calls and other activity. But never work alone. That probably has changed more things for me than anything else. And we, as leaders, we've done this on the big scale. And starting in January, I'm going to be closing out the month either here in Cedar Rapids or at locations where I've got a lot of activity. Like we closed out the month at GJ's house 2 months ago. I'm going to be doing that as well, so you can see how you physically close out a month with people. So it's not just ideas that you heard at a training. You've tasted it, you've experienced it, you felt it. And so that never working alone aspect has been absolutely huge. Now, the questions that he's really given us now is really cultivating leaders finding leaders, and probably the thing that I can tell you guys right now that we need to focus in on, and that's why this discussion is really good right now with the whole equity offering. You need to be talking to leaders. If you're talking to some gal that wants to lose 45 pounds and hopefully get her product for free, and that's her only goals, and you start asking the questions I'm about to ask you, she's going to look at you like you're in outer space. But if you are looking for leaders, you're going to find them asking these questions, not only of them, but these questions that you're asking yourself. I posted on the Team Epic page today the things that I look for in somebody I want to personally enroll, and I'm going to go there real quick so you can see that, and I'm going to translate that for you so that, hold on a minute, let me get over to this thing, so that you can apply it to where, what you're doing right now. So, okay, my computer runs slow, probably because I got this on. All right, so what I look for is self-employed, top position production-oriented employees. Mortgage brokers, loan officers, salespeople. If you ever heard me do the memory joggers to help people create their list, those are the first ones I usually mention. Other internet marketers, because they're people that have the initiative already wired in them. Secondly, somebody who has won in a competitive environment in the past, business or otherwise. It could be an athlete, but it's where they had people that were competing with them and they won because they're going to be wired for the challenge. And I don't know if you've run into this, but sometimes when you bring a competition or a contest to somebody who does not have that wiring, it actually shuts them down. Say, hey, if you could take action right now, you could win this person. There's a lot of people that I did this with, they would go, oh, well, I probably won't win, so I won't even try. Then I know that I really recruited the wrong person. Number 3, they understand the holes in what they are doing for a long-term lifestyle satisfaction and are currently dissatisfied or at least questioning their path. A sense of working hard instead of smart. And so I'm looking for somebody who knows what they're doing, but they see that they can leverage things a whole lot more if they have another model. Fourthly, they're a high level of influence. On the influencer scale, they're going to be a 7 to a 10. A lot of you probably run into the fact that you recruited 4s and 5s because you see yourself as a 6. And then you found yourself, well, it's easier for me to talk to 4s and 5s. But then you realize you got them in, but now I got to babysit them because they're not self-starters, they're not taking initiative, they're always finding reasons why not to do something because they have weak thinking skills. And so then it drains you of your own personal energy. And then fifthly, self-discipline in other areas of life, like fitness, money, integrity, or goals. I don't require that because I didn't start with being disciplined. But if I see somebody who's disciplined, I know we can move a lot faster. Because the biggest thing I see happen with people is self-sabotage by our own ADD natures. So if we're focused, we're going to see a great deal. The other thing I want to touch on with here, and I haven't gone into the Maxwell material yet, is I've been interviewing a lot of my leaders that are ambassadors, or actually presidential directors and above, and just evaluating when they came in and how they went about building their business. And even though we like to say, and I believe in consistency for personal discipline, I absolutely believe that, but in creating momentum in their team, they took a 90-day period of time, and this was like one of the only things they did. They took a 60 to 90-day period of time, and it was just full bore, crush this thing, and just create momentum and frenzy and excitement. And then when they hit their goal, then they took a break, and then they supported other people that were still in their 90-day push. And then it would be like a wake. It would have a rippling effect. because nobody can stay that intense for 12 months except for Nick Sarnicola. But if you take 90 days, and I would strongly encourage you to make the next 90 days those 90 days because of the equity fund, to really look at making a frantic push for the next 90 days so that we're seeing sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up, because we're creating urgency, we're creating scarcity, so that we say, this, you got to make hay while the sun shines. This equity thing is not going to be on our lap forever. This is something we've got to leverage to get leaders into our organization. Now, so let's talk about leaders. But before I do that, any comments or questions on what I just shared?
Not here.
Disagreements?
No.
All right, okay. All right, so let's continue on then. Hold on. All right, so I qualify people that I'm talking to. But let me clarify. I don't qualify them on whether or not I call them. I call just about everybody that gets put in front of me. But once I got a hold of them, then I qualify them. I don't look at somebody on Facebook and go, well, I wonder if I should, ask them or not. No, I ask everybody. But as soon as I have their attention, then I turn the tables and I qualify them. And these are 5 questions that John Maxwell gave us that he asks himself as he's talking to people. Number 1, are they hungry? Not necessarily desperate, not in need, but are they hungry? Are they desiring something greater than what they have right now? Number 2, can they influence others? And with this equity offering, I would be focusing on people that can influence others. Now, everybody's going to want to be a part of this, but we've got to be judicious with our time to create speed and momentum. I'll help anybody, but having done this for 6 years, I know what's going to drain me and what's not going to drain me. And if somebody will hold up the standards of discipline and consistency, I'll work with them. But I'll tell you, almost every single time they drop off. Like, I've done different things where I've said, anybody wants to run ambassador, get a hold of me and I'll show you what it takes. And I have people begging to get on the list. And I'll start with 19 to 20 people on my list saying, I want to run to ambassador. I say, great, then do not drop any one of these weeks. Do not stop anything I'm doing. This is what we're doing for the next 90 days. Within 1 week, and I'm telling you, over half of the people were begging to get on the list. Within 1 week, because I didn't put any qualifications on it, well over half the people had already quit. And it wasn't because it wasn't working, it's because they never even started. And last time I did a 90-day run for somebody to go to ambassador, when I started with 20 people, by the time we got to 90 days, I had 3 people left. So the reality is, the reason why some of these people aren't going there is because they don't have the commitment, the mental commitment to walk it through and to complete it. So the ones that can influence others are ones that are people that have already demonstrated their ability to lead others. And that's, if we can get each one of you, just 1 or 2 people that can just lead, game over. So can they influence others? Are they a 6 or above on the influencer scale? Again, the influencer scale is if they're 1, then they're completely needy and really not worth your time. Number 10 is this person is, taking over half the world. So if you see yourself as a 6 or 7, that means some people look up to them and will follow them. And I would be talking to 7s to 10s personally. And that's what's the biggest scare for people, is because they're scared to talk to people that are greater than them, Those are the people that will actually take you where you want to go. But why would they listen to me if they're greater than me? Well, because they know a good thing when they see it. And the one thing I would do is immediately plug them in with myself or Gigi or Tony or Rhonda or somebody that can then take them to that next level. The biggest battle is breaking the ice. But I would be looking for somebody who's a 6 or above. Anybody had a question there? I heard somebody breathe. Was that a question, Ray?
No. I'm
All right.
with you.
Are they self-disciplined? And when I find somebody's not self-disciplined, I don't toss them out. I just recognize they're going to be a slower process because they get easily distracted. If you find that they are self-disciplined at the beginning, those are the people that are going to be able to break ranks quickly. Then the most important one for me is the last one. Are they values compatible? I'll tell you right now, I had a long talk with somebody about 2.5 weeks ago. And they were an influencer in another network marketing company. I was getting pretty pumped about it until I got to know them a little bit better. And then I realized we were not values compatible, meaning they were all about the money. They weren't about serving people. And so I'll be honest with you, I really wrestled with it because I wanted this guy to be gas I could throw on the fire with contests. But when we got done with one conversation, I said, well, you know what? I just need to be honest with you. I don't think this is a good fit. If you're liking Vi, you probably need to find somebody else to work with. I don't think I'm going to be the one that will help you get where you want to go. They're like, why? I said, because my thing is servant-driven leadership, and I'm just not seeing it here. I hope I'm wrong on your sake. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just trying to judge what I can sleep at night doing. And so I told them I wouldn't work with them. And so you got to be able to say no to get some yeses down the road. If you want more yeses, you're going to have to start saying no to a few people. As far as saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to get you where you want to go because you're not willing to do what you need to do to get there. And when you start talking this way, all of a sudden people are going to take you more seriously. As I've shared before on some of my other things, is I had one guy who was all suspicious, and he goes, so are you telling me your challenge is going to make money for me? I said, no, I'm not. It did for me, but I don't know if it will for you. I'd have to ask you some questions and evaluate you to see if it's going to work. And it totally turned the tables because it got them positioned to a place of really understanding that I'm here to help them. I can mentor them. I don't need their sale. So, all right. So let's talk about that because these are some of the things. What we were talking about with John C. Maxwell is expectations. We've got to put expectations on one another and on those that we're talking to. So when you connect with somebody that you're looking to maybe work with, you want to first of all establish a common ground. And to know something is a result of mental preparation. So there's a difference between knowing something and understanding something. To know something is a result of mental preparation, meaning I've digested the information. To understand something is a result of mental preparation plus experience. That's why the never working alone is so important. It's one thing to know how to start a month and the close of a month. It's another thing to experience it. Then you're going to understand the gravity and the power of what we're doing. Now, I want you to look at the next things that I'm going to be mentioning in the context of, and this is all we're going to do tonight, in the context of where you're at and what you need to work on. Because what we're trying to do here is raise leadership. They took a survey of 14,000 people, and their question was why they failed to reach their goals. 16% said it was because of lack of focus. So what they need to do is work on their priorities and vision. 36% was because of lack of action. They just don't take initiative. That's a huge amount that I run into in the Midwest. 20% lack creativity. Now, what I mean by that is more like mental agility. They run into a problem, they don't know how to solve a problem. We got to figure out how to overcome an obstacle when we run into it. You know, especially in the Christian community, this, I'll be honest, I'm a believer, I love Jesus, but this drives me nuts. Somebody runs into an obstacle. They start thinking, oh, I think God's not in this now because this was hard. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh. No, it means you need to do some problem solving to overcome the obstacle. You know, it's, well, it's a closed door, brother. I go, closed doors are closed because we need to open them. That's what a doorknob's for. Anyway, I'm sorry. 19% lack of confidence, identity. You know, and this is one of the reasons why we never work alone. We got to use our leadership, our confidence to pull somebody through their lack of confidence so that through experience they will understand how to lead others. That's why never work alone is probably one of the most important tools I learned in the last few months. And here's what's really interesting is the last category is 9% of the people that fail to reach their goals felt like it was because of lack of tools or resources. But most, I'd say 90% of the people you talk to think, well, the reason I didn't succeed is I didn't have all the tools I needed. That's actually not true. Everybody's got all the tools they need. Very few of them really struggle because they don't have the tools they need. The biggest battles, the largest percentage, is not taking action and not problem solving. So what you need to look at in there, and let's just talk about this for a minute. Of those things, lack of focus, lack of action, lack of creativity, lack of confidence, and lack of tools, which ones do you think apply to you? Unmute when you haven't answered.
Action and confidence.
Okay. And why do you think you'd lack confidence?
I don't want to disappoint my family, my husband, you, the other leaders that do believe in me. I'm afraid of letting people down. I'm afraid of letting my teammates down, the people that I've helped to get started. But I've dealt with that all my life in anything. That's why I was kind of this thing of being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Some people think it drives people to be perfect. No, it a lot of times causes us to hide inside something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I recognize it. I just have to kick myself in the butt. That's why I just started blabbing to those folks the other day about the workout day.
Good.
I just have to do that.
So taking action ties in with that because if I can't do it perfectly, I don't want to do it at all. Is that basically?
That's how I've been. That's how I've been.
Okay. Well, stop that. Sorry. How's that for kind, compassionate, Pastor Bill? Yeah.
It's true. It's true. But you know, when you've got this 5'23" guy right next to you, it's easier to be more confident.
All right.
Oh, what are you? 5'23". That's right.
Yeah, 5'22". There you go.
5'22". Okay.
Who else wants to share of those categories? Where do you see yourself?
My number one is lack of action. Number two would be lack of focus.
Okay. Talk about lack of focus first. Why do you think that's it? Why do you think that is the issue?
Well, because I've been very concerned that I say something to the wrong person and it gets back to the people at the bank.
Oh, well, no, okay. So that's not lack of focus like you're distracted. It's just you're kind of restrained.
Yes. So that's part of it, but it's a little bit of an excuse also.
Okay.
But once I have when I run into somebody, I have no problem talking about it.
Okay.
And I really don't care what they think.
Yeah.
I don't care. I care just a little bit about people at church think.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point where it's, everybody else is doing their thing. I'm going to do mine. Excuse me. Get out of my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Good. That's why I like you, Ray.
yeah, but it's getting action and getting it consistently and getting going.
Good. All right. So taking action has just been feeling like you're giving yourself the excuse that my hands have been shackled at work.
Yeah, I think I'm using that as an excuse to a certain extent. I do have issues with that, but I probably could get around it better than I have.
I believe you can too. All right. Anybody else? Kate or Vernon or William?
I believe for myself, to speak for myself, I had a lack of focus. Focus after that, obviously taking action.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're one that I've seen take action like no other. I mean, I don't think that's a bad. I think the problem right now is just because you've had to overcome so much. It's hard to get the motivation to do it, because I know all the stuff you guys have gone through in New Jersey. But lack of focus isn't just because somebody is ADD. It's because they got other concerns and stuff going on in their life, and I understand that. So that's one of the reasons why I mentioned the 30 to 60 to 90-day window, that most of my best leaders, they just did massive action for 90 days. Then, it's kind of like saying January, February, March, this is my main focus. April, let's go on vacation, let's go do something, let's have fun. But January, February, March, going to work. And just realize that at times we just got to have an emphasized focus with a 60 to 90 days and do it. And I know we had a talk earlier, and I know we're going to see some great things happen here very soon. William, do you have any comments? Is he in there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
I think working with you, Pastor Bill, and going to all these events, I think that I know for sure Vernon and I have both accumulated what challenge is all about as far as from the health side.
Yes.
Had great transformation, lost weight, built muscle, and all that. So it proves that the program works. But like I said, there's a lot of things that we have to overcome. To me, it's just been the lack of taking action when we know what we can do. We've learned new stuff with working with you and met many people at a high level who are doing it, that we know that we can speak just as well, we can train just as well, we can create events just as well as anybody else out there. It's just the lack of putting it all into action and just being focused on it, like Vernon says. The action part, being focused and just doing that activity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do think, honestly, guys, I think if you go revisit some of the people that you may have talked to, a few years ago, you might get a different response, because you guys have shown such consistency and such leadership. I really do think we're going to see a different response with some of those people that you approach. But this is a time for us to focus on finding leaders. Each one of you, if we find just one or two leaders, people that can take initiative, that can be focused, that can be teachable, coachable, that can be creative and problem solve, just two of them, will change the course of our future. Kate, you have any comments as far as which one you think matches you?
Yep, I would say lack of action and lack of focus. I get distracted really easily, and there are times when I feel like I lack the confidence as well. I believe in the challenge and I believe in the products. I just sometimes get intimidated by bringing it up with somebody.
Yeah, I understand. Another reason why we do the never working alone thing, and Kate's really taken advantage of that when I've been doing these boot camps. And I want to come do a boot camp with you guys in New Jersey too. But when we did a boot camp a couple weeks ago, Kate, she just comes. Every single time we have a boot camp, she says, "I'm going to be there," and I think that's awesome. She just takes advantage of it. So we're never working alone. So the next phase, I'll be talking about the next Maxwell section is going to be talking about improvement and how to mentor somebody else that you get in as a leader. And so he's really in the cultivating stage now. He's already kind of addressed what we need to look at, but now it's who are we going to pour into. So the next phase is going to be how to really help them improve. So we'll talk about that. But again, just to summarize before we close out this call, is I would be contacting any leaders I know saying, hey, I wanted just to get a hold of you. If you knew there was a $1.8 billion company that was offering equity, would you want to know more? And at that point, open up a conversation so that we can talk to them. I will make my priority getting on the phone call or talking to or meeting with anybody that responds to you from that inquiry. All right?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Get a hold of me on locations for the January 3rd event to see, what we can do in New Jersey, what locations we have there, what we have up in Cresco, what we have in Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, whatever, so that we can attack this. And because this is going to be a really good marketing tool for us to really make a huge splash in January. Instead of just having a rally event at the beginning of the month, is we're actually incorporating people that want to work out right from the get-go. And then we'll introduce them, give them the samples or something at the end of the workout session. But just to get them in so that we can kind of already get them in the process of doing it. When you have somebody working out, they're more agreeable to do what they're doing instead of what they're about to do. So be sure to be on the vision call tomorrow night. It's going to be a webinar. I pinned it to the top of the Team Epic page to register for it. Even if you can't be there because of work, register anyway, because then they'll send you a recording of it. But it'll be a webinar explaining everything visually in minute detail on the equity, on the group challenge, and on the record-breaking thing we'll be doing January 3rd. All right. Bless you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Take care.